of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone. This is Monday, November 7th. Do you have any questions or business with this council? Come up to one of these microphones, give us your name and address, and state your concern, please. Call a roll.
Cedar.
Here.
Ellery. Foley.
Here.
Kinsfater.
Here.
Cuppa.
Here.
Laporte.
Here.
McCartney.
Here.
Member Ellery is out.
I'd move to excuse
I'll
Ellery.
support.
All right, the motion made support. Excuse member Eller. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Can I have one addition to the closed session? You can add for number 11, update on pending litigation. We'll go to number 4, consent agenda. A, City Council minutes of October 17th, 2016, special and regular meetings, recommendation approved. B is the Historical Commission minutes of September 8th, 2016, meeting, recommendation received. And C is the St. Clair Golf Commission minutes of September 13th, 2016, recommendation received.
I'll make a motion to approve. Support.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go to number 5, reports administration. Mr. Booth.
Got a few items, Your Honor. This Friday, November 11th, our City Hall will be closed in observance of Veterans Day. Next item, the city has an old police car that is listed on the state website. It's Michigan bid. It's a 2006 Dodge Charger, and it starts November 7th and runs through this Friday, the
Yes.
11th. Payment and pickup is to be completed by November 16th. Road work for our 2 road projects is complete. Final walkthrough will be done this Thursday for the work that was done on Hawthorne, the skate park, Orchard, and South 9th. Total construction cost was $395,436. The project came in $3,846.50 under budget. And then I would like to meet with council soon here to start talking about 2017 road projects. That's all I have. Nope, one more item here. Leaf collection has begun. Scheduled pickup dates will depend on where you live. The listing is available on the city's website, and also related to rubbish, I guess you'd say, and brush. The last brush collection from Waste Management is November 25th. Which was moved from the 24th because of the Thanksgiving holiday. And that is it.
Can I ask you a question, Mike?
Yes.
So we don't have a truck driving around every day for leaf collection.
I guess it depends on how they come downtown.
Well, I haven't looked online, but let's just pick Vine Street. Like, how often does Vine Street get vacuumed?
Not often enough.
Like once a month? And the only reason I ask is because the leaves, again, are all in the roads, you know, and they're already there, like on 9th Street. It's terrible. And if they don't get picked up for another 2 weeks, I mean, we have somebody that drives around giving citations. Wouldn't that be a good place to start?
Talk to Mr. Beath and see what he can do about, because I know a lot of people with a nice weekend like we had, obviously they're going to be out raking on this past weekend.
Yeah.
If they're there probably too long, you're going to have them blown all over the place, I'm sure is where you're.
Well, I guess what my question is if you have sticks, it's once a month wherever you live. If you have leaves, is it once a month also?
No, once a week.
Once a week?
Yeah.
Okay. So they do drive around pretty much every day.
Pretty much every day, but they're not going to go back down
town.
Vine Street again if it rains and they're blown
Okay.
out. Or
That's good to know.
Anything else from Mr. Booth? All right. Mr. Downey, what do you got for us tonight?
Nothing this evening, Your Honor.
Any city departments?
Yes, Your Honor. Polls are open tomorrow, Tuesday, November 8th, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the 2016 general election. Results will be available on the city website no later than Wednesday morning. Thank you.
All right, thank you. D, authorities, boards, commissions, counties. No unfinished business. We'll go to number 7, special events. City of St. Clair Ride of the Santa Parade. Chief?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm in receipt for a request for approval for the special event permit for the City of St. Clair to hold the annual Santa Parade on Friday, November the 18th at 6 p.m. The route will start on Vine Street in front of the St. Mary's Church area and head down to M29 to J Street and back around to the back portion of the mall. They have all the necessary documents and are in compliance with the city, and I hereby recommend approval.
Support.
All right, motion made, supported. Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Special event, Chamber of Commerce Holiday Gala. Chief?
Okay, Your Honor, also approval for a special event permit for the St. Clair Chamber of Commerce to hold their holiday gala, formerly known as the Galloping Gourmet. A large trolley will be used with their event to carry the residents within the city of St. Clair on December the 1st from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. They also have all the necessary documents received and are in compliance with the city, and I respectfully recommend approval for their event.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Opposed? Thank you, Chief. We'll go to C, the Schmood Oil Survey.
Moody.
Schmoody.
Schmoody.
Mr. Booth?
Yes, Schmoody Oil has asked to do survey work on a few streets in town. Clinton, 9th Street, South Riverside. Further, they have indicated that they would also like to shoot St. Clair Highway. And they've indicated they'd share this information with the city. I've reviewed the proposal with the city's engineers, Anderson, Eckstein, Westrick. They feel that this additional information would be of value to the city in the fix of St. Clair Highway. Currently, the city is waiting for geotech work and a proposal to come back from G2 Consulting. Have not yet received that. I spoke with Steve Pangori today about that, so it should be coming soon. If approved, I would ask Schmoody Oil to revise a proposal that they put through on October 27th, and before they started their surveying work.
So,
With the changes that you had presented, I would move to approve the proposal.
Your
I'll
Honor,
support.
the bond that was posted while he was doing this work seemed low, if I remember right.
You mean the certificate of liability insurance?
Mhm.
Each occurrence is $2 million. Auto liability, $1 million. Umbrella liability of $1 million.
So then it's adequate. I remember the number way smaller than that.
And Lloyd's of London is the underwriter.
I reviewed the certificate, Mr. Report, and I found it to be consistent with that type of work that is done in the city.
Okay.
I'll support.
all right, so the motion's made, supported. Any questions? I have one. I know I'm sure you said it, but the proposal is going to be that he is going to shoot St. Clair Highway for us out there and provide that information to us.
Yes. He had indicated he would do that, and I think there's some, depending on what he finds, obviously, there may be some delay in when he gives it to us as far as,
Well, he's not shooting St. Clair Highway to give us a report, he's shooting St. Clair Highway to see if there's any oil or gas.
absolutely.
And then he's going to give us the results of what he finds underneath the area that we're losing. So it's, he's not doing that out of goodness of his heart, he's doing it because he wants to leave his oil.
Right.
Well, it actually says that he's shooting Riverside.
The South Riverside is,
South River.
Right, not St. Clair Highway.
so he plans to do St. Clair Highway, Clinton, 9th Street.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions? Call the roll, please.
Kinsfater?
Yes.
Cuppa?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
McCartney?
Yes.
Foley?
Yes.
Cedar?
Yes.
Carried, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. We'll go to D. Letter of support for St. Clair in MEDC CRP application. Mike?
Good evening, Your Honor, and City Council. My name is Mike Hilfinger. I'm with SCS. We represent Planet Clair LLC, the owners of the St. Clair Inn. before you is what's called a Commercial Rehabilitation Act under the Michigan state law. What we're doing right now is applying for a community revitalization program grant from the MEDC to fill gap funding. It'll be gap funding for the gap that Planet Clair has to redevelop the St. Clair Inn, and it's and of course and add a 5-story building across the street. The project is around $40 million. So there is a large gap that we're trying to work with MEDC to fund. To do this, we need to show some local support from the city. The way that we're looking at is a tax abatement for 10 years through a Commercial Rehabilitation Act. What that would entail is that right now with the property, the city's receiving $87,000 a year in taxes. You would keep receiving that $87,000 worth of tax for the next 10 years. The incremental tax would be the tax that would be abated. So then in year 11, it would jump up to whatever the tax, and we project it'll probably be around $320,000, $300,000 a year at year 11. So that'll increase the benefit. But so this is a local support that needs to be shown for MEDC to participate. And the dollar amount MEDC is looking at is in the millions. So it's we're looking at probably the gap is anywhere between 4 and 6 million that we're looking at for the MEDC to help out with. And the total amount of tax abatement over the 10-year period is projected to be around 2.4 million total that the city would provide. So in this instance, all we're asking for is just a letter saying the city will use best efforts to form a district, a commercial rehabilitation district, and then acknowledge that the Planet Clair would need an abatement. There's a formal process we're going to have to go through with public hearing and everything else. This letter is just to say the city's making its best efforts to talk to Planet Clair about an abatement, and this needs to go to MEDC to show them that this portion of the funding would probably apply. And again, it's just projections at this point. So we're just asking if the city could sign the letter, and then we can get it to MEDC so that we can check that off the box and say that we've done that. But again, there will be more formal process. There'll be public hearings and everything for if the city decides to form a district, which we hope, and then allow for the abatement to go through once we get further down with the project.
So Mike, the specifics of the abatement, the nuts and bolts will be worked out at a later time.
Yes.
This is just letting them know that we're in the game.
Right. Correct.
So if excuse me, if that's the case, we could say St. Clair will agree to some percentage of an abatement eligible local taxes over 10 years instead of leaving it sound like it's 100%.
Well, yeah. Well, that's an issue because we have to provide numbers. So pro forma numbers showing the projections, and without the 100% abatement, the projections to this point wouldn't work. So this Planet Clair would be coming asking for an 100% abatement, just over and above what you currently get. You'd still be getting the $87,000 a year, because otherwise, I mean, it's up to the council, of course, but it depends on if the project, and we'll come back at a later date, and you can put whatever you want into the letter at this point, but we just need to let the state know that the city is willing to use its best efforts to take a look at it and to move forward. And the percentage, I guess we can talk about at a later date. But the pro forma that we provided, the MEDC shows 100% abatement.
What's the process for putting a district together? Pretty simple.
Yeah, you just have to, I'm sorry, you asked me or?
I don't know. Whoever can
Well,
answer.
yeah, basically it's a resolution needs to be passed. Make sure that you have the proper legal description and parcel IDs, and the city approves it that way. And a lot of times in the same meeting, the sponsor will come and ask for the abatement at the same meeting after you approve the district.
Does it change the status of the district we've already set up on the historical district?
No.
Your Honor?
No, not to my, not.
Mr. Turner?
It does not. They would be independent of one another.
Separate cats. Well, I'm going to make the motion to support this letter and have Mr. Booth sign this and send it along to the MEDC,
I'll support
telling the
that.
city of St. Clair is willing to sit down and talk.
I'll support it.
Motion made, support. Any questions? Call the roll, please.
Puffa?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
McCartney?
Yes.
Foley?
Yes.
Kinsfater?
Yes.
Cedar?
Yes.
Carried, Your
All
Honor.
right, thank you. Good luck, Mike.
Thanks. I wanted to add one more thing that we did something on behalf of the city this past week. The US EPA has a program called Local Foods, Local Places, and where the federal agencies help out communities. They come and do like a 2-day workshop and help communities out with their plan, and they can pinpoint specific federal funding that can be used to help your economic development of your city or your township. So, and I talked to City Superintendent Mike Booth about it, and we applied for this. It's not really a grant, but it's a program where the federal agencies will come into town, we'll hold a 2-day work session, and we'll tell them about what the planning we've done and how far along we are, and then they can add some maybe opportunities for federal funding. But, so I just wanted to mention that.
Federal
Thank you.
funding for what?
For its economic development of the downtown area.
So we're talking about the inn, you were talking about something different, huh?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, this is, yeah, it's basically, it has to do with the inn, because it's local, it's called Local Food, Local Places, so we got a support letter from the inn about the restaurants that'll be in their building, and then we also mentioned in the application regarding the brewery, because they would be a participant in that type of project, too. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. Go to number 8, claims and accounts, October 20th, 27, 28, 2016.
Hearing no questions, Your Honor, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Support.
Motion made, support. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go to number 9, public comment. Anybody have anything out there for the good of the group? Mr. Bohm?
Yeah, my name's Jeff Bohm, 3453 St. Clair Shores Boulevard, East China. First of all, I'd like to welcome all the kids, probably some future city council members, county commissioners out there. You can tell my daughter, she's the worst looking one out of the bunch in her basketball uniform here, so she happened to be here this evening.
What a dad you are.
Great. What I'm here for this evening is to invite everybody. November 17th at 10 a.m., the Community Foundation is sponsoring a bus trip, an investor tour, if you would like to call that. Mr. Coucil has a hotel project, a 200,000 square foot plus hotel down by the airport, and he's opening that up to anybody and everybody that would like to attend. So I said the Community Foundation is going to be sponsoring it. The bus can hold up around 50 people. City residents are more than welcome to come. We will be leaving at the St. Clair Inn at 10 a.m. on that day, and if Mitch asked me earlier if we get more than 50 people, some people may have to find a way, probably have a few additional cars and stuff. I guess we'll have to play that one by ear. But really the idea of this, and I know everybody in this room gets the questions, what's going on with the St. Clair Inn, when's it going to happen, so on and so forth. Mr. Coucil's going to field some questions and answers too. And actually Mike Hilfinger here that was up to address you. Mike actually works for the county's lobbying firm too, and I know a lot of you have seen him in other meetings and that kind of stuff. These projects take time. We were just at the Marine City groundbreaking last week. That was a 3-year project in the works, and I know with you city council members, Mike, you probably get it the most by sitting in the Voyager. Mitch, I'm sure, topic for conversation down and anybody that's here. So this project is continuing to move forward, but they do take a long, long time. And the idea of this is to really bring people down to touch it, feel it, see it. I know there's a lot of questions, is he for real? Does he have the ability? So on and so forth. I think this will help show people that he has the ability to put it together. We did this earlier in the summer with a project with Bob Wolfson. He was a fellow that was looking at doing a big project up in Port Huron We went and toured 4 of his big developments that he and Royal Oak, just to really, to vet him a little bit more. So Mr. Kotowski's willing to do this. Once again, November 17th, it's a Thursday, 10 a.m. We are going to be meeting at the St. Clair Inn. Everybody's more than welcome to attend and jump on the bus and go down there and see his property. So,
What's your daughter's name?
Jessica.
Jessica, I want to apologize for your father's behavior, and I wish you the best of luck with him. Thank you for that invitation, Jeff.
Okay, thank you.
I'll be there. All right. Anybody else? Public comment? All right, that's the next. Anybody else want to remind me of anything? All right, then we'll go to number 10. I do want to mention Dick Schwaffer. Thank you. Dick Schwaffer served on our Beautification Commission for years. He served on our Housing Commission for years, and he passed away, and St. Clair lost a good man. And I acknowledge that and send out our best wishes and prayers to the Schwaffer family. Make sure you vote tomorrow, everybody. Anybody got anything else? There was something else, wasn't there?
Deer accident, were you gonna talk about that?
Thank you. Chief, I have a question for you. Come on up to this microphone. At our last meeting, we had an incident over on M29 North Riverside. A deer got hit, and I gathered some information. We gathered some information since that, and seems to be some discrepancies in the story of what happened. And I know that our police department was, I don't want to say defamed because that's a pretty strong word, but the things that I found out later, I think that I need to have you do some explaining. But I also want to say this, that if you call 911 and you're on M29 anywhere along this coast, apparently, according to dispatch, that's a problem because the cell tower in Canada picks that up sometimes. So if you call 911, make sure you say you're in St. Clair, Michigan, or Marine City, Michigan, or East China Township, Michigan. Get the Michigan in there because that will tell them to route that back to St. Clair County and not route it wherever they send it that day.
I'd also give the zip code, if
Yeah.
you could possibly do that.
All right. Now, will you take a minute and just give us a quick, keep it short and sweet, of what the heck was going on?
Well, after Mr. Coles was here and explained about the ping going across Canada, and as I say, you talked to dispatch and got that out. However, some of the information that was given that night, it doesn't really add up to what happened on our end of the deal. He made the comment that he witnessed a red pickup truck going approximately 60-some miles an hour, striking a deer and throwing it 70 feet in the air and landing in his driveway. Looking back at my dailies of the officers, a deer was hit in front of his residence at approximately 3:41 a.m. on that date, and it was hit by a border patrol that was heading southbound coming into the city. That deer, after being struck by the border patrol, ran in a easterly direction to Mr. Cole's residence. Our officers were contacted, and then they actually got out and actually were searching for the deer for approximately 45 minutes, but they were unable to locate it due to the darkness of the night, and a lot of times the deer get injured, they run and hide. At approximately 8:20 a.m. that same date, one of my officers was contacted by dispatch to go to that residence up at the north end there, reference a deer that he found in his driveway that was injured. And when he got there, Mr. Cole stated that he didn't say anything about being hit by a pickup truck or anything. He just said that an injured deer crawled across M29 into the wood area on the west side of M29. Our officers tracked the deer down and was able to put it out of his misery. Those are the facts that were coming up on that night on October the 8th.
All right. So, there was no red truck.
The officer, the day officer that went up there, I asked him, did he tell you anything about a red truck hitting this deer? He goes, no, he never mentioned anything.
The deer was hit at 3:41, 3:14?
The deer actually was hit at 3:41 a.m. on that same date.
Okay, and his call in dispatch was 8:15?
Yeah, we got the call at 3:41 a.m., and then he called at 8:20 a.m.
8:20.
3.5, 4 hours or so later.
Anybody have any questions for Chief? I don't want to make a big deal out of this, but I just want to make sure that our police department is represented accurately.
And also, I don't have the figures with me. I think Mr. Block, our officers have been up there quite a bit running traffic So, I mean, I don't know, I think people have seen us up there quite a bit.
Yeah.
We're running traffic quite heavily up in that area, have been for some time.
Okay, Chief.
Thank you.
We'll go to number 11, closed session, request closed session to discuss strategies connected with the negotiation of a collective bargaining agreement with employees represented by the Police Officers Labor Council, POLC. I'll ask for a motion to that effect.
I'd make the motion, Your Honor.
Mayor Cedar, did you want?
And the pending litigation update.
I'll amend my motion to add that.
Support.
Motion made, supported. Questions? Call the roll, please.
Laporte,
Yes.
McCartney?
Yes.
Foley,
Yes.
Kinstauber?
Yes.
Papa?
Yes.
Cedar?
Yes.
Carried, Your Honor.
All right, we will be taking action when we come back out. You're welcome to stay and enjoy the ambience of the building, or you can leave if so. Be careful. Thanks for coming.